The Beyond the Fame podcast is fed by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners. For menu and locations, visit LidoPizza.com. This month's programming is sponsored by Signature Theater in Arlington, Virginia. A Fiddler on the Roof sounds crazy, no? Signature Theater presents Fiddler on the Roof, the timeless musical of family and tradition featuring Tevye, his family, and the village of Anatevka. On stage now through January 25th. Ticket information at sigtheater.org. And of course, this podcast would not be possible without our longtime title sponsor, the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Don't miss Bush on December 12th and Aaron Lewis on December 13th at the Event Center at Hollywood Casino. Plus, don't forget to purchase your tickets to That Arena Rock Show's New Year's Eve party or dance the night away in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Receive 2 complimentary drinks with each ticket purchased. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. 20 years ago today, the Billy Joel musical Movin Out closed on Broadway on December 11th, 2005. I spoke to the show's Tony-nominated star Michael Cavanaugh last year when he brought his Billy Joel tribute concert to Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia. Hey, Michael Cavanaugh. Hey, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We are talking because you are coming for a show at Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia, and it's called The Music of Billy Joel. And obviously you know it very well because you played in the Broadway musical Movin Out and earned a Tony nomination for that too. So let's start there before we get to this show. What was it like doing the Broadway musical? You know, basically all these great Billy Joel hits, bringing them to Broadway.
Well, I've been playing these songs my whole life, but I was a piano bar guy before I went to Broadway. So the level of detail was definitely much higher. And I remember the first time I had to play these songs in front of Billy Joel himself. And I'm like, man, I really want to make sure I'm playing these right. And I would go back and listen and be like, oh, that's how it goes. But so I was very nervous, but Billy was always so cool about it. He was always so encouraging, always has been. And he made me relax right away. So, I will say every time he walked into the theater, I did the show for 3.5 years. Every time he showed up, I was certainly aware he was there. But I did learn to relax because he was so nice and such a cool guy.
So cool. And you said that you started as a piano man, a proverbial piano man. Where was this? I knew you grew up in Cleveland, but didn't you play in piano bars in Florida, or was it Vegas? Where I'm trying to remember which one where Billy saw you.
Yeah, I started in Orlando, then I went to Vegas. Billy saw me he saw me in Vegas. He was coming into town for a concert, but he was in town a couple days early. At that point, I had met his tour manager, Max Lubier, and we had become friends. And I was hoping maybe just to get to meet Billy one time and shake his hand. I didn't know it was going to turn into so much more. At that point, I was not at all aware about a Broadway show coming out or anything like that. I just wanted to meet my hero. And Max surprised me before I was going to work, and he said, "Hey, I'm bringing Billy to hear you tonight." And I'm, at this point, driving to work, trying not to have a heart attack, right? So we set it up.
You mean a heart attack, tack.
I see what you did there. And it was really cool. It was amazing. It was a dueling piano bar. That's what I did back then. And the first time I met Billy, he got on the piano across from me, and we were jamming together that first time I met him. It was pretty incredible.
That's insane. By the way, now I'm curious, and we will get to the show at Capital One Hall in a second, but somehow we're moving chronologically a little bit. But either way, I'm curious now, in those early piano bar days, what were like your go-to Billy Joel songs?
Well, it's pretty tough to top Piano Man. If you really want to take the room over, put it this way, if Piano Man doesn't work, it's going to be a long night. I'll tell you that. But on top of that, if you had people especially from the Northeast, they would love Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, or they would love New York State of Mind. Yeah. All the girls love Uptown Girl, of course. Mm-hmm. I would say other songs that were really big, Only the Good Die Young, and You May Be Right. Yeah. If somebody just got married and a bride and groom would walk in, maybe Just the Way You Are. And there's a lot of stuff. Billy's music as you know, very eclectic. It covers a lot of areas. So
Yeah.
many of his songs would be requested by people every night.
Absolutely. And what I always loved about Piano Man, I know everyone just thinks of it, sings along to the chorus or whatever, but I love the turns of phrases. Like instead of just a short, direct, easy way of saying a phrase, like instead of saying like when I was younger, it was when I wore a younger man's clothes, or you know what I mean? They're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. The turns of phrases in that damn song are masterful.
Hmm. Well, Billy he's an amazing lyricist. He is.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is he always kind of makes that his secondary strength when he talks about his writing, and his melodies are incredible too, and his chord
Yeah.
changes. He always starts with the music, which is less common with songwriters. A lot of songwriters start with lyrics first. He
Mhm.
starts with music, and the painful part for him is writing the lyric. And I think it's painful in a couple of ways. It's painful because the melody and the music matter so much to him that if he puts in a word that throws off his melody, if there's too many syllables, he'll beat himself to a pulp to get it right. And then the other part of it that's painful for him is this is a lot of emotional stuff going on here. Like when he wrote the song Big Shot, he was writing about himself. So he puts himself through a lot when he writes these songs. So he's always said he loves having written, but he hates the writing process itself.
Um,
But people can relate to that, right? Because a lot of people have these same emotions. So there's a reason he's going to be 75 and he's still selling out stadiums. He's a legend.
oh,
There's not a whole lot of people on the same list as Billy Joel, that's for sure.
no, he's knocking on the Mount Rushmore of singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
However you want to do your list, top tens, whatever. I mean, he's Elton John,
Oh,
him,
he's on that. He's on
Paul
Mount Rushmore as
McCartney.
far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
Oh
he's on
yeah,
there. He's right next to Paul McCartney, and yeah, he's right there.
oh yeah, unbelievable. And real quick, I love that you just said about for Big Shot, he was basically looking in the mirror, basically writing about himself. And I love how he can be playful too. Like by the third chorus, it's like you had to be a big shot,
Yeah.
big shot. Like he's like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's goofing around.
Yeah.
And You may
Yeah.
you may be right. He just performed that to close out the Grammys a couple of weeks ago, and damn, that is a playful song too. I mean, I love how
Oh yeah.
you just see him like smiling through the lyrics in a lot of it. Um,
Yeah, you may be right. Is actually he said that's still his favorite one to play live.
I'm
He's always
sure.
been a big fan of the Stones, and when he wrote that song, he was thinking of the Rolling Stones. I mean, I could totally picture Mick Jagger singing that song.
Oh yeah, totally. And my wife and I always have a laugh because she said she first heard the Garth Brooks version. Of course, Garth did an awesome. We danced to Shameless at our wedding because we
Yeah,
we grew up
yeah.
on Garth. But of course, Billy Joel wrote the original of that too.
I would come out the stage door when I was doing the Broadway show, and I would sign autographs every day. And I would hear almost every day people would say, "I love the show, and I think it's so cool you did that Garth Brooks song." I heard that all the time. They didn't even know it was a Billy song.
You
Yeah,
know what though? The funny thing is, there's similar
mm,
showmanship. I think like they're kind of
they are.
like that fun that I'm talking about. Like there's like a playfulness in both of their performing styles that I love.
There's no question about it. And Garth Brooks is what an incredible entertainer. He really is.
Yeah, a different Mount Rushmore of country, but yeah, I mean,
Yep.
unbelievable, unbelievable. Changed the game, but Billy Joel changed the game as well. I mean, yeah, gosh, I mean, I'm just smiling thinking about these songs, and I just mentioned that he played at the Grammys, but I remember I was like an '80s, '90s kid, but I remember him performing "River of Dreams" at the Grammys. Do you remember what I'm talking
Yeah.
about to say?
Yeah.
And I find it is what I've been looking for, and then there's the long pause before in the middle
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it. He
Yeah.
would pause and he went, "Valuable time wasting here."
Oh yeah. 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 He always goofs around on that song. When he pauses, sometimes he'll go into like na 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 na. Sometimes he'll go into old time rock and roll by Bob Seger.
Oh, that's great.
Sometimes he'll go into maybe like Respect and have Crystal from his band sing it. He always there's always going to be a surprise on that one, which is
On
really
those
cool.
pauses. All right. Well, we've just been riffing on his amazing songs, and I'm sure a lot of these we will hear at the Capital One Hall. So how did this actual show sort of come about? Is this like a touring thing you do with different orchestras in different towns, or is this specifically for the Fairfax Symphony here?
Oh no, we've done this with over 100 orchestras over the past 16 years. We started doing this in 2008, right after the Broadway show ended. I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do next, and I was approached by the Indianapolis Symphony first, and they called my agent and said we saw Michael on Broadway, and we really enjoyed his performance, and we would love to help them put together a show featuring the music of Billy Joel. And I was all ears at that point because I had been approached before that by the New York Pops, but we were trying to figure out how to get it orchestrated. It's very expensive to get these shows orchestrated.
Right.
But Indianapolis kind of had that in place. So we worked out a deal where I did the first batch of shows for them, and then I got to keep all the orchestral charts myself and tour the world with it. And we've been everywhere between California and Malaysia doing this show.
Awesome.
And it's been incredible. And since then we've launched more shows. I launched a couple years later. I had launched the Music of Elton John show, and then music of Paul Simon and James Taylor and Neil Diamond show. But the Billy Joel show it's always going to be my home base. It's where I came from. I grew up in Cleveland. I played in a top 40 band. You say you're an 80s, 90s kid. I played in a top 40 band. So we were playing everything from Paul Abdul to Milli Vanilli, right? We're playing top 40 stuff. And I was
you were singing as much of Milli Vanilli as they were.
Yeah, maybe more. I think more. But I was way underage. I'm this little kid. I started when I was 12, playing in bars. And in the middle of these top 40 sets, it would come time for the ballad, and I would play like Honesty, or I would play She's Got Away. And people would be like, whoa, I was not expecting that. But hey, that's cool. And they started calling me like young Billy Joel when I was a little kid.
Oh, wow.
And I always thought, and I don't know if I was just being a cocky kid, I always thought that I would get to know him. I didn't think that I would just meet him. I thought that I would get to know him. I didn't know that I would actually work for him. But it all kind of worked out, almost like a fairy tale. I used to camp out in the snow for his tickets in freezing cold Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, wow. What was the venue in Cleveland that you'd wait outside?
It was the Richfield Coliseum back then.
Okay.
In the 90s, actually, I think Billy Joel opened up it's not new anymore. It opened 30 years ago. It's had a bunch of different names. It was called the Gund Arena. Now it's where the Cavaliers play. I think it's called the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse or something like that.
So it was the basketball ring. It was the Cavs. All right.
Yeah.
So wait, 80s and 90s. Then you were the one where Michael Jordan did the over Craig Elo, the balls win, the dagger to your heart.
I've had many daggers. Listen, I'm a Browns fan. I've had so many daggers to my heart. But yeah, that's certainly one of them. Yes.
But you got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so that evens out.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a pretty cool thing for sure.
That's cool. And I'm seeing here, shout out Stephen Reinecke. He comes on our radio show all the time because he conducts stuff at Kennedy Center and stuff. You worked with him at Boston Pops. That's cool.
I've worked with him at Boston Pops. I've worked with him at Kennedy Center 2 different times. Steve's a good buddy of ours, and he actually wrote a lot of our charts for this show.
What'd you do at Kennedy Center? Was it a Billy Joel thing?
Yeah, we did. We did our Music of Billy show, and then we did our Music of Elton show a few years later. Yep.
Nice.
Did them both.
I was lucky enough to see Billy Joel at Nats Park, I think it was. Or was it Capital One? I think it was, but Nats Park. Yeah, Elton John was Capital One Arena. Verizon Center, whatever that, like you're saying, they all changed names now.
Yeah.
Saw Billy in DC. He's unbelievable, and I'm sure you're good. Everyone has to come out to see this show. What else do we want to say about the show? I guess describe how it works with the Fairfax Symphony. Like, how many piece orchestra is going to be behind you? How epic is that going to be, kind of a thing?
Yeah. So, we're taking these songs that a lot of Billy Joel's songs. It's easy to imagine orchestration if you think about it on New York State of Mind, or if you think about it on Cecil Italian Restaurant. It's already there, and maybe we turn it up more to feature the orchestra more. I've told people before, it's kind of like we're putting these songs on steroids, but there's certain songs that might be less obvious, but when you think about it, it makes total sense. If you think about a song like Pressure, which is all synthesizers, but I don't know if you can hear this right?
Oh yeah.
If you think about that, that's very classical sounding. And when you hear the orchestra play it, it sounds like Beethoven. It's awesome, right? So they open it, and then we come with a bang. You have to learn to pace yourself. It's a really cool dynamic between the rock and roll world and the classical world. And it's hearing these songs in a new way, but at the same time, it's not like we're not throwing out what everybody loves. We're keeping it and we're adding to it.
Oh, I absolutely love it, man. It's going to be such a good show.
Yeah, it's a blast. I've been doing the show for 16 years, and I still get pumped about it. I still get pumped talking about it.
It's so cool. And by the way, I read that you have something where you see colors through music. What's that about?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it's I thought it was something everybody had. Like I didn't know what it was till I was 30. I've always seen music in colors. I see certain people's names in colors. Forgive me, your name's Jason, right?
Yeah.
Jason, so your name is Red. I don't know why, but it is. So
It's called
if I it's
synesthesia,
so
right? Synesthesia.
it's called synesthesia, right? So different things, music notes, days of the week, months of the year. So like your name is Red, but also the name Mark is Red. So if I saw you somewhere, I might call you Mark, and you would be like, "How could you possibly call me Mark?" And I'm like, "Sorry, they're both red. It's weird." But when I hear music, like if I hear a C, it's red. If I hear an A, it's blue. If I hear a G, it's brown. So it's like when I hear something on the radio, I kind of in my mind's eye start to see these colors, and it goes along with perfect pitch pretty well.
Okay.
That I can kind of immediately place something. And I mean,
Oh,
if
you
it's
got perfect pitch
crazy, a
too.
million notes. Yeah,
Way to
yeah. So
slyly drop that one in there.
yeah. Well, once I realized what all this stuff was, I mean, I knew about the pitch thing when I was young, but when I learned about the synesthesia and that not everyone had it, I started looking into it, and a lot of people with perfect pitch also have synesthesia. And some people see shapes, some people see colors, some people smell things. It's like a cross wiring of the senses.
Wow. Well, now I'm curious. I have to ask then, in our final seconds, what color do you see when you hear Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia? What would Capital One Hall be? What color is that?
Well, that's interesting to me. So things like that are not normally colored, but the word capital seems blue to me for whatever reason. I don't know why. I've never thought about it, but when you say it, it seems blue.
Okay.
So yeah, locations don't necessarily have colors. Like I can't really decide what's going to have a color and what doesn't. Like not every name has a color to me, but Jason does.
Interesting.
So
Well,
yeah,
I think that's fascinating. So yeah, you're out there you're painting while you're playing music. I love it.
pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of like it's in the air right in front of me. It's almost like I could reach out and grab it. So if I
I
hear it,
mean,
I just kind of know what's going on.
who am I to say that those colors aren't correct? I mean, it might be, and you may be right. I may be crazy,
Well, no,
but
my daughter has it too, and she sees different colors. So we argue, and she's like, "C is blue." I'm like, "You're crazy," and we laugh about it because we're both crazy, right? So both of my kids also have perfect pitch. I think only my daughter has a synesthesia thing. My son might have it in a different way. I think he might see shapes.
okay.
Like I said, it's just like it's a cross wiring of the senses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, all these beautiful minds all over the place.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't fully understand it myself, to tell you the truth.
It's really, really cool. I think it's fascinating. But awesome. Well, thanks so much. Again,
Of
Michael
course.
Cavanaugh is going to be playing it with the Fairfax Symphony, the music of Billy Joel at the Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia on Friday. So yeah, all right. So we can actually say Friday night you'll crash our party, and Saturday we'll say we're sorry, right?
Absolutely. I can't wait to do so.
All right. Hey, thanks so much.
You got it, man. Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.